like, hi guys, Rational Response Squad here. We just got back from the Atheist Alliance International Convention in Washington, D.C. And is everybody still an atheist?
Yeah.
Yeah, an atheist. Me too.
I actually converted.
Yeah.
I converted, then I reverted when I saw Jesus.
Right. Well, that's what I thought. I thought
because Jesus was there.
He became right, then he went back to being an atheist.
Right. I had drinks with Jesus at the convention.
Right. I was almost convinced by Sam Harris that we shouldn't be atheists.
Or at least not calling ourselves atheists.
Right.
Yeah, Sam Harris ruffled some feathers when he said that we shouldn't use the word atheist to describe ourselves because it, I don't know, it thwarts debate and discussion because people tend to just get scared by it and they run away from it. We actually had a chance to talk to Sam, and I can tell you, for those that are mad at Sam for what he said, there's something to what he said. However, he's willing to listen to the other side, and we presented it to him in a private discussion. But one of the things he did say, which is good for us, is that we should use words like rational and reason and science to describe us. Let's talk about who we really are as opposed to what we don't believe in. And so groups like Rational Response Squad are already a leg up in that category. But he definitely ruffled feathers, and you'll see a lot of that stuff in the Atheist Alliance International tape, and then when our movie comes out. And a lot of the material that we produce this weekend will be available in the movie. In fact, the overwhelming majority will be available in the movie and the extended DVD features, and won't be up on YouTube. And we're just kind of...
Yeah. Well, Sam also admitted when we spoke to him that we might be at a point in time when we can't not use the word atheist as a kind of a general umbrella to unite people. So, I mean, he even admitted that, like, right now that might not be a possibility, that the word atheist is actually necessary. And I think everybody agrees that we'd like to get to the point where you don't need to say that you're an atheist any more than you need to say that you don't, I'm a Santa Clausist.
Right.
Just in a nutshell, our position on this issue is that, the whole non-believers, I'll use that term, have been segmented into these, secular humanist and humanist and bright and, all these different words that describe us: non-theist, agnostic, free thinker. And everybody wants a different word to describe them, and we might actually have 30% of the population, but we just don't see it because there's all these different words that describe us. And the problem is that atheism has a negative stigma attached to it. Well, black in some circles has a negative stigma attached to it, yet Graydon Square's walking around with a shirt that says, "I'm the Black Carl Sagan." And he's embracing this word that describes him in the same way that gays,
they took the word fag back,
It's kind of like M&M's, I am whatever you say I am. And so, the point is that we think that, and in fact we've seen agnostic used as a slur recently. And we think that if you start using the word bright, or somebody said like consciously evolved or something.
It sounds a little arrogant.
Conscientious evolutionist or something.
Yeah, when they figure out what that is, they're going to be like, oh, well, so you're an atheist. And not only are you an atheist, but you were deceitful to me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Kelly pointed out pretty eloquently when we talked to Dawkins, we interviewed Dawkins, said the word abolitionist no longer really it has to, we don't know what that is, but we don't use it anymore because the problem is gone. And so you shouldn't get rid of the word, you should get rid of the problem that's associated with the word.
In an ideal world, we wouldn't need to describe ourselves as atheists, but right now, it's not practical not to do that, I don't think.
And it's only by people coming out and saying, I am an atheist. Your next door neighbor, the person that you work with, whoever it is, family members. And then the more that people encounter these evil atheists and realize that they're not all evil atheists and that we only like to drink baby's blood on certain days of the week,
and baby is
they'll
good meat.
start liking you. They'll stop hating atheists because they'll realize that they know 30 of them and that they're all good people, mostly.
But the end result is that the squad and Sam Harris get along very well, and we respect his opinion in this and are thinking about it, and he's thinking about our vantage point here. And other than that, we pretty much agree with everything. So check out his book, The End of Faith. And while we're on the topic of coming out as an atheist, also check out Richard Dawkins' new campaign, The A, this kind of scarlet letter, at richarddawkins.net. But,
so, Brian, what was your favorite event that happened there?
The whole thing. Well, you know what? Just getting to meet like everybody was amazing. Like I don't want to trivialize that part because I definitely had some favorite moments, but getting to meet everybody was like the coolest thing. I mean, we met Jeez,
everybody.
Yeah. All the speakers were very accessible, like when, just mingling around with the crowd and things like that. And, we talked to them all, ourselves up in the room privately and things like that. Yeah. we got to have drinks with, Christopher Hitchens, drinking scotch with Hitchens. I mean, that's awesome. I got to do shots with Matt Chapman, Darwin's great-great-grandson, which was awesome. So
he said something about evolutionary theory. Made some joke. What did he say?
I was talking to him, and I did try not to bring up evolution right away because I want to talk about some of the other work he's done. He's had so many questions dealing with Darwinism, but I said, "Can we talk about your family a second?" Especially Erasmus Darwin, who I thought was really instrumental in what Darwin did, which was the grandfather of Darwin. And he told me privately, he goes, to tell you the truth. The theory is an idiot could have come up with that theory. I mean, he goes, we just take 2 dogs and breed them.
It's so simple. It's like
an idiot could have done it.
Now he wrote a book, 40 Days
40 Days and 40 Nights.
40 Days and 40 Nights, right. And it was about the Dover
trial. About the Scopes trial and about how it ties into the Dover trial.
Right.
And
he also wrote some screenplays, and he also wrote another book. I can't remember the full title, but it has something to do with an accidental memoir dealing specifically with the debate of evolution and creationism throughout a long period of time.
Right. By the way, for those that are unfamiliar, this is Rich Rodriguez, of course, another one of our Bible geeks here and ancient historians, and Hamby Dammit, and they both came into the convention and hung out and are coming back to the house for a couple days to hang out with us. So, but it was a really good time, man. Like, Great Square's performance.
That was
standing ovation for Great Square.
Incredible.
500 people, as many people as were there, standing ovation. So. And he said that was the first one he's gotten. And it was a huge, huge crowd. And it was so good, they made him perform again at night out by the pool. It was a nice setting outside, and we were all hanging out. And
that was one of my favorite events right there.
Yeah.
Getting out with you and Graydon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Singing a little bit.
That was awesome.
In Brian 37, you had some great moves, my friend.
By great.
You were tearing it up.
By great, we mean tearing it up.
He was feeling the music. In as white boy style as you can. He was feeling the music.
It was like,
Me and Hamby got Christopher Hitchens and Daniel Dennett to take the blasphemy challenge. That was a great
how did Hitchens take it too? He said something funny.
Yeah, he says, Christopher Hitchens, do you deny the Holy Spirit? He goes, I absolutely do. He goes on for a little bit, and he pauses, and he goes, and I pity anyone who doesn't. You should see it on YouTube.
And Daniel Dennett took it as well.
Yeah,
Dennett was like, do you deny the Holy Spirit? Yep.
Is that it?
He said, yeah.
What do I do? And we said, oh, you did it already. Oh, is that all there is?
Okay.
But actually, that first night there was really interesting with I think Rich and I were the only ones that were there at that point. And it said a lot of good things with just us being there and having our little RRS badge. Yeah. Because people were coming up to us, didn't know us from anybody, but they would say, oh, look, you're from the Rational Response Squad. And, I mean, it was almost like we were celebrities, just there kind of riding in on the RRS.
And the first night was
but just the fact that we were RRS, a lot of people recognized us then.
Yeah. The first night was the auction, so most of the people there were just some of the people who came in just specifically to donate lots of money. You had the American Allegiance people, you had the American Atheist, Rick Wingrove, we interviewed him. Mm-hmm. Most of the, I guess you'd call the presidents and vice presidents of all these major organizations, and they were all in full support of the Rational Response Squad. And they were dragging us everywhere. She wants to take the plastic challenge. She wants to take the plastic challenge.
There's definitely a couple of points. There's a couple of important points here. First of all, I don't think any of us, and we'll get to the zero, the whole thing that we're talking about in a couple minutes. Let's build up to that because this is an important issue. But I think the celebrity status of us in general was something we did not expect.
It was absolute insanity. Yeah. Like from. We couldn't
walk anywhere
Brian and I are a little more recognizable just because, the TV stuff.
Baseball and drinks.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, thank you so much. We didn't just get by us drinks and food. Bill, Rich, they took care of us a bunch, but seriously,
it's like people like...
Who's the main guy that helped us out?
Patrick.
Patrick. Yeah, thanks so much. He bought us like everybody 20-person table, the whole squad was there.
Everybody appetizers.
They were making jokes as we walked past the Evolved Fish. They had a booth, and every time they said, "Oh, there's that rational response posse again." The squad, it was like 25 people strong. Just
and that's it. There must have been at least 30 of us there.
Yeah.
And it was great to like
I know there are people who were
person.
like identified with us, but we're in their
but
little.
there were
groups
legitimately like 30 people from
just
our
that
group
came because
had Rational Response Squad on their little name.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it was definitely odd. Like when we first got there, and people are wanting to like, oh, can I get a picture with you, or like, can you sign this? And it's just like, why?
We were just regular people.
Why do you want me to sign that? Actually, Hemet Meta wanted me to sign 2 copies of the book that he wrote. What's that about?
Well, to be fair, Hemet is a really cool guy.
Oh, very cool.
He's very
In
cool.
fact, check out his book. It's what is it? How I Sold My Soul.
I sold my soul on eBay, right? It's actually available.
I just don't understand why anybody.
It's in bookstores, really?
No, it's available.
You can get books at bookstores.
Anyway.
Well, why would you when you go to Amazon.com and go to the website?
Actually, yes,
You give money to the Rational Response.
Exactly. Go to Rational Response
Response.
and click store at the top, and then you can go through Amazon. And you can get any one of these books or products that we're talking about right here. So,
Yeah, but
including Matthew Chapman's.
I don't understand why anybody would want to sign anything with me, or like why, or have a picture taken. It was just very odd. And then with like the security thing, and I don't know, I guess like, we had like some kind of like VIP status, and we're just like, winging, like just going to the front of the line with like reserved seats, and everybody's acting like it's just normal, and meanwhile I'm like, whoa, this is weird.
That was kind of like a sad thing kind of hanging over the event. I mean, we're all worried about the security.
Right.
A couple of speakers were not able to come unless they put money into security, and there were bomb-sniffing dogs several times sweeping the complex all over, specifically the rooms that the important speakers were in. And what was the problem?
You keep doing this with your hand, and it like keeps going within like a half an inch of my eye. It's like I'm gonna go fucking flying by the end of this.
She's over here.
She's got 2 hats.
Thomas taught like.
So anyway, then they had like six people who were like, they looked like FBI agents, and all in communication, all in suits, and then thanks so much, Bill, for taking care of. We needed an extra security guard on Saturday because we had Christopher Hitchens and Daniel Dennett and Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris all come to our room and spend time with us, filming for a movie that is being made, I guess, about us and what we're trying to do to help the country and the world. And so our bodyguard is specifically the best bodyguard. Okay, imagine a Shaquille O'Neal. Now imagine 2 of him. It was the human wall.
With a weapon you doesn't need to use ever, because I just put my
I said to my phone, but I said, what would you do? I said, what would you do if, I said, don't you guys use stun guns? Because, I mean, if you're protecting somebody and there's an altercation and you have to fire, what if you accidentally shoot the person you're protecting? I mean, obviously these people are trained well, but he says, I don't really need to shoot. I just put my body in the way.
It's funny. When you called me up,
bullets would probably bounce off that.
When you called me up for the Dawkins interview, he opens the door and I see this huge guy. He goes, "I don't know you."
I'm not sure if I want you to know me.
Did you take his wand out? No, he started to take his wand out.
I don't think he finished his sentence before I started running away.
I'm just here to meet the squad. Did you eat them?
Did you?
Oh boy. There's some funny stories, but we can't even tell them all. Some are so crude. I guess one funny one we can tell is we saw Christopher Hitchens in the hallway. You tell it because it was so important to you.
Yeah. So the one thing I was really determined to do, I would not leave that convention without talking to Christopher Hitchens, and I really didn't care if that meant I had to like find out what room he was in and sit outside the door.
You know what I realized too? The thing is, we sent emails out. We had email contact information for all these speakers, and they all returned our information, and we were in communication with all of them except for Hitchens. But I just realized now
he doesn't know how to work his computer.
Right, exactly. We found that out. He doesn't know how to work his computer.
Yeah. So anyway, the first day we're there, there's no sign of him, and we know that he was like the night before he was hanging out. So I think it was like early afternoon on Saturday.
About 11:30 noon.
Like we were so busy that day, and we actually were supposed to be talking to somebody else at that point in time.
Alan Johnson.
I'm
so sorry, Alan. We're gonna come visit you soon.
So I see Christopher Hitchens like standing right at the top of the stairs, and I was just like, meow, beeline. Like this guy was not escaping. And so Brian sees me, and so he comes over, and
all of a sudden alarms went off, and you're like, get the scotch!
Yeah.
Get the scotch!
Yeah.
So like, do us a rundown, get the scotch!
No, but so we told who we are, and at first he was like, and we were like blasphemy challenge people,
Because he had just taken the blasphemy
like,
challenge.
Oh yeah.
That he knew.
And we were like, we'd like to talk to you. Do you have a few minutes? When's good for you? He's like, well, how about now? And we were just like, all right. He's like, can we drink up there? And I was like, what do you want?
I'm so glad to have Razorcade. Thanks, Razorcade. We had a lot of people around, like Brian 37. A lot of guys around us just helping. Left of Larry. Thanks so much, guys, to everybody. And instantly we turn around to Razorcade and we're like, whatever he wants, get him 3. So he comes out with 3. There were, let's say his drink of choice is Johnny Walker Black with club soda.
Yeah.
Right. Club soda on the side, no ice.
Club soda, yeah. He had in about 25 minutes. He had
25 minutes.
He had 2 and 3. Well, he had 1.
He
had 1, and then
he
took about 1 and a third with him on the road.
It was pretty. Everyone decided to buy him drinks afterwards at the bar.
And it was apparently right after he drank, half of a fifth of scotch in our interview, he went out and absolutely owned somebody on TV and just looked absolutely articulate.
Yeah.
The man's amazing.
Well, the thing that really stinks, though, is that because it was so impromptu and we didn't want to miss the opportunity, we actually could have gone way longer with him.
We could have spent hours with him.
Yeah. But we had Richard Dawkins up, like in 3 minutes after we
actually had to push Dawkins back.
Yeah,
apparently he was running late anyway, so
we had to get Christopher Hitchens out the door to get Richard Dawkins in. But that's cool in and of itself.
Isn't that yeah. Sorry, Hitch, get out of here, Dawkins is coming. And Hitch and Dawkins are actually he said they're going to be spending
Richard Dawkins is going to stay at Christopher Hitchens' house, I guess.
Yeah. So,
which will be an interesting experience for Richard Dawkins.
Comedy Jesus is great throughout the movie.
Right,
check out religiousnessretarded.com and comedyjesus.com.
And Pastor Deacon Fred.
Landover Baptist
Church. Oh my God.
LandoverBaptist.org.
So fucking funny.
Yeah, I said to him at one point, I realized, okay, Troy, you guys remember we put a couple of videos out a couple weeks ago. Troy came over and spent some time at our house, Comedy Jesus. Really funny guy. The best thing about it is all improv. The guy's brilliant. And this Pastor Deacon Fred, hilarious. Okay, he's a legend. And so I said to myself, I've got to get these 2 guys together. And neither of them knew each other. Or actually,
they had never met.
Yeah, they never met.
Never met before.
They never met.
I didn't even know that.
So I was thinking that I'm going, I gotta help these guys out. I gotta write a script or something and figure out some ideas that these guys can do together. And I realized, no, I'm going about this all wrong. You just take them and put them in a room together. You put the cameras on and you close the door and you leave. And that's basically what we did. And you just say Jesus, Pastor Deacon Fred, Pastor Deacon Fred, Jesus. I told Pastor Deacon Fred what I wanted to do. He said, that's great. I can't wait to meet Jesus. I have a lot of things I want to ask for. It's hilarious. Right off the top of his head. You're like that. And these guys are just a trip. And we had this. We actually had an altercation. Kelly and I had this fake altercation where Kelly ended up getting with Jesus, and I lost Kelly for a minute.
I humped Jesus' leg.
And then I became Jesus' bitch, and it's funny. And I think they'll both have the material. The people that are making our movie are gonna release this footage to Pastor Deacon Fred and Comedy Jesus, and they'll be able to sell this however they choose. But it's going to be extended feature on the DVD of our movie when it comes out.
We also kicked his ass too.
A lot of
But yeah, we do. We kicked his ass. Hopefully that'll get in there.
I hope so. That was funny.
We did some funny stuff at the end. Were you there for that?
No.
I must
have been out like talking to important
It was right.
people.
It was right when we were in the lobby last night, and I went to Chuck, and he told me he was the first person that ever donated to me. And then Jesus came over, and we ended up having a little conversation with him, and it just got out of hand real quick.
I don't know.
Started
kick his ass.
Yeah.
We were all like,
we were all just beating the crap.
There were so many people there. I mean, like all of these people that you might see like them on the internet or hear about them or read a book by them, and they're just all there for you to like talk to and hang out with. Like last night we're hanging
friends,
out.
just the people that we not like the celebrity guests, but it was so nice to meet all those.
Yeah, well, I mean, last night we're hanging out with David Silverman, Pastor Deacon Fred, Comedy Jesus, me and Brian. It was like
Yeah, at one point we're having a beer upstairs with the pool, where Graydon was performing, and I stopped and looked around and said, okay, there's Ayan Hersey Ali, there's Sam Harris. There's Richard Dawkins. Each one has a group around them talking to them, and it's just accessible as anything you can imagine. Just everybody's just having a great time.
And you said Ayan Hersey Ali was at the pool.
Yeah, she was outside.
Is that when the truck thing occurred and you guys started getting all paranoid?
Yeah. After that,
because Ayan Hersey Ali, for those that are unaware, and check out her book Infidel. Had an extremely serious, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to. She had an extremely serious threat on her life this weekend, and I think one of the most serious that she's had. For those that are unfamiliar, somebody that she worked with a while ago, Theo Van Gogh, was murdered by Muslims who thought to see fit that he, as director of her little short film, should be murdered because they drew the Quran on the woman's body, and they asked the question, what's more sacred, the woman's body or the Quran? And if it's the woman's body, then this should be okay, and if it's the Quran, then the Quran says the woman needs to be covered at all times, and this is wrong, and I believe she's to be beheaded or something like that. Well, we learned apparently the Quran is more holy than the woman, and Theo Van Gogh was killed, brutally murdered, 28 times, stabbed in the chest, with a note that was stabbed right into or on his body that said, Ayan Hersey Ali, you're next. And since then, she has been living in America, and there is all kinds of massive attempts from the Muslims to try to discredit her. Oh, she's a proven liar. This is a really good argumentation they have. I've never once seen any evidence for any of this other than the fact that she's exposed Islam as a complete sham fraud.
Kind of like what Christians do to us.
Right.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. And we're actually, that's a good segue. Let's touch on that right now.
But aren't you going to tell the story about the death threat, though?
Well, yeah, I mean, she had a very serious threat on her life this weekend. And I mean, I don't even want to give too many details. The fact that I'm surprised to hear that she was out.
She was out. She took a picture of me and everything.
Because we couldn't get her to come to the interview because of how secure her situation was, and she was just kind of holed up in a room for most of the time. And I'm surprised that she came out.
She got out. I guess she wasn't gonna let it get her down. She wanted to have her fun as well. So she was out and about for about 10 minutes, then she went away. So.
Yeah, well, at least she got out for a few minutes, but it was sad.
Well, too bad she didn't come to the dinner.
Yeah,
she didn't have pigeons, and we were at the table at the dinner, and we were supposed to be sitting with Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens, Ayan Hersey Ali, Matthew Chapman, and Richard Dawkins.
Matthew Chapman is the great-grandson of Darwin. Last night, Kelly and I, that was probably one of our, definitely a highlight. And we had dinner with Sam Harris and Darwin's great-grandson. And we ended up being able to get Graydon in there at the last minute too. So there you go. Graydon Square had dinner with Sam Harris last night. Go figure, right? The guy retired from atheist activism, and I called him back up for those that don't know the story and got him back in. And who would have thought that less than a year later he would have an amazingly successful album and having dinner with Sam Harris. So. Yeah. But let's talk about the fact that nobody hates us.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Nothing but love for us.
Yeah. There was mad love. There was so much love that it was just overflowing all over the place.
Do you see down here right now? I'm not talking about Kelly. I'm talking about those comments. The comments down there. Do you see the people that say, I'm an atheist and I don't like you guys because you say you're mean. Blah, blah, blah. You're mean, right? Those people aren't atheists. They're not atheists. They're lying to you. They're Christians. They're lying Christians. In the last year, we've exposed over 20 people on our website that have been impersonating atheists as Christians. I don't have that capability on YouTube because I don't have IP addresses, I don't have email addresses, I don't have any of that. We're zero. About 15% of our comments on YouTube are negative comments from people claiming to be atheists. How come 0%? Zero. Not a single one of these 30 people had a negative comment directed their way. Not a single one. How does that happen? How does that
too.
Where does that come from?
Yeah, there was a waiting list of 600.
There was every major name in non-belief was there.
And they were all
and they all
and
wanted us to
humanists.
support what we were doing.
Humanists and brights coming up to us and telling us how great we were. Zero negative comments, not one.
And everybody who says that, like, Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris and Daniel Dennett and Christopher Hitchens would think you guys are stupid and hate them.
We have them on tape saying they love us.
We have the documented proof it's otherwise.
Oh yeah, wait to see the movie. We might release some material from Sam too, but Sam just gives us, because apparently the audio endorsement and the text endorsement wasn't enough. Now we have a video endorsement with him shaking my hand, and also giving a little cheers to each other.
Yeah, how many of you people have met with all of them and had them up in your hotel room to hang out in one day?
Oh, but you're name dropping. You guys are arguing from authority right now. No, we're not, dipshits.
Yeah, no. Those people name drop in order to try to discredit us. But guess what? You're wrong.
We're not name dropping. We're just telling you about our life.
We're just telling you the facts, and that if you think they hate us, you're wrong. So just shut up.
No, I was blown away. What I thought it was going to be was a bunch of people coming up to us and telling us that we're crazy.
Yeah,
too out there.
We're too extreme. We're too in your face.
Too much.
Instead, it was,
of that.
can I have a picture with you? And could you sign my Coke can or my banana?
And I love what you're doing.
Yeah, everybody that talks.
Can I buy you a drink?
What you guys do is so important.
Yeah, they said, look, and I probably had 5 or 6 people come up to me and say, look, what you guys do is so important because you're reaching the people that don't read Dawkins and that aren't going to even pick up a book by Harris. And you guys are putting the videos out there and you're getting there on their level. And that's what is so wonderful about RRS. And I must have heard that 5 or 6 times over the weekend. And again, that was just someone saw the badge. And wanted to come up and tell me that.
In fact, everybody watching on YouTube now is probably the first time they've ever seen you. So it's like it wasn't like you were recognizing
the face. I wouldn't have known him.
No one knew who I was. Well, that's all right.
I wouldn't have known him either.
He's the Rambo kitty on that. That's the funny thing.
Rambo kitty.
Somebody comes up to me the first night and goes, "Hi, Brian Sapien. I'm Dragonfire," and I was like, "Sorry." So I had a lot of people, but it was just kind of funny because, people would come up and be like, "Oh, you're Rambo kitty? Yeah, I'm Rambo."
Oh, I sat and talked to Brian 37 for 30 minutes, and then he said, "Wait a minute, are you Rambo Kitty?" And I was like, yeah. He didn't even recognize me for 30 minutes.
No, his name on the message board is Hand Dammit, but his avatar, of course, is one of our mods, is a kitty, acting like Rambo.
AK-47, yeah, that's Rambo Kitty.
Did I tell you guys that I pwned a theist that worked there when I was pitching?
Yeah, by the pool. Before you were in the pool.
No. Is that even on film anyway?
Actually, it's going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
I was I was come up the stairs.
It's going to be in the movie or it was recorded?
I was recorded,
It's a lot of work making a movie, apparently. For every 60 minutes we shoot, we give 1 minute worth of movies. So.
Right. So, I was walking up the stairs, and, this guy that works there was, in the vestry, and he was like, Jesus existed, And I was like, I'm writing a book on this. Right?
The best part about that was that while you guys were talking, I walked up the stairs with Jesus.
That's true.
We had no idea what was going on. And here they're filming this guy, and me and Jesus walked right by him.
But it is, I was tipsy, and I'm sitting there towing this guy, stuff, and he's just you know it a lot. And I'm like, yeah, I do.
So the one thing that I saw, did you guys see Richard Dawkins in the auxiliary room? Was the audio working when he showed the deceitful editing clips?
Yeah.
And we actually, the genome question that the Frog Prince or whatever the name of that crew was that put the video up of Dawkins, and there's that 17-second pause. If you've never seen it, you can find it pretty easily in Google. we finally got Dawkins on film. We've been wanting to ask him about it, but the night before we asked him about it, he stood up on stage and he showed some of his worst critics. And when we see our worst critics, we get pretty angry sometimes, especially when they're being deceitful and dishonest, because we know that some people are going to see that and they're going to see the dishonesty and they're going to believe it, and our information won't be, juxtaposed next to it. And it was amazing to see Dawkins put out his worst criticism or embarrassing moments or whatever you would call it, and
assholes trying to debunk him.
Yeah, assholes trying to debunk him. And all he did was smile at the screen. And so the next day I said, because I was like, I have to hone this zen.
His answer in the interview was great when you asked him about that.
I felt more normal after he did, but I was also kind of like frustrated because I did want to figure out how to do what he did, and apparently he had just gotten over it, and he thought the audience knew better in this case, or he didn't have time, because he says that when he does see this stuff, he does get very angry, and he knows that it spreads, false information, and that people are lied to, and he says that it's very upsetting, and that's how I feel too. So that made me feel more normal.
Well, Christopher Hitchens, though, he really doesn't care. When we asked him about that, he said, there's no reason why you should care. Those people are obviously stupid.
He also played word association with us.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, Mother Teresa.
Yeah, what was it? She was an atheist.
Yeah, that guy rules the world. Seriously.
As soon as he came in on Thursday, he came in, went to the bar, grabbed a drink, and planted himself against the wall. Everybody went up to him, talked to him. He was just like, "How you doing?"
But overall, this event was really fun, and Margaret Downey is a hero.
Thank you, Margaret. You did a wonderful job.
Kick ass.
For those that don't know, though, there was some division within other groups that had nothing to do with us before we were around in the atheist community, and Margaret is working wonders in bringing these groups together that have had a past where in some cases they didn't agree with each other or didn't get along because of it. And Margaret Downey, an unbelievably amazing and important woman in the way that she is. I'm sorry.
I was purposely trying to not interrupt you. I said goddamn condensation.
That's now all over my cable.
It drips all over my legs every time I pick up my drink, and
laws of
I
physics.
don't like it.
But seriously, I mean, what she's doing now is so important, and whatever grudges were held in the past, she made a move to move, and for those that can do any quick research, Atheist Alliance International Convention was always held on the same date as American Atheists, and this hasn't made everybody exactly happy, and she moved the convention this year and said, I guess I'm going to be the bigger person. And you deserve just the biggest shout out for that, Margaret. And I think that everybody should get behind whatever you're doing. Atheist Alliance International. She's also the president of FSGP.org. And when you go to her site at FSGP.org, you can see just how many projects she's involved in. And what an amazing, important. In fact, her efforts there are so much more important than everybody else there because she brought us all together.
Yeah, and, without her, none of that would have happened. And she worked her ass off, not only for the past, 5-6 months, but, I mean, while we were there, it's like the woman was like a flash of,
amazing.
Focus.
Hey, Margaret! Like, everybody just constantly, no, do this.
The best way to describe her is Donald Trump. The female Donald Trump. Except not without as much money. But that's how. But when you see Donald Trump work, and
much better hair.
He calls the shots and he makes them right. I mean, that's her. Just this, go here, do this. But she's she deserves respect. She commands respect. She leads by respecting others, and she's just an amazing woman. So. Whatever she does, wherever she goes. If Atheist Alliance International Board loses her, you guys are stupid. Wherever she goes, that's where we go. Okay?
Yeah. And next year, just listen to what she says.
Whatever she
about
says,
the conference.
just do it. You guys did it. You did not have enough people.
Bigger room.
The AV needed to be better.
Yeah.
She was thwarted. She wanted to have 750 people, but the board said, oh no, you'll never get that.
We'll never sell that out. And it sold out in, what, like 2 weeks?
Sold out in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then had
waiting list for 600 people.
Waiting list.
And in fact, the 750 number the other hotel, that wouldn't have even been enough.
Yeah, even the bigger hotel wouldn't have been enough.
It was she had 1,000. She would have had over 1,000 people.
We could have sold out a convention center easily.
Especially
with that lineup of guests.
Yeah.
So
I hope we have more chance at that.
Margaret rules the world, and everybody should just listen to whatever she says.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's worth pointing out though that spirit that you're talking about of sort of trying to reconcile differences of the past. I could see that actually after Sam Harris's speech because Sam said some things that before his speech he said, look, this might be kind of controversial, and his thing about the atheism, and he talked about this idea of sort of materialist spiritualism, even for lack of a better word. And there were a lot of people at the conference who disagreed with him about that, and a couple who spoke up kind of vocally. But when I was in the bar afterwards and just talking to everybody that was there, the attitude that everybody had was, look, I disagree with him on some points here, but I think that we're both going in the right direction.
Right.
And it's not the tiny points. And, the disagreement over, does meditation have a benefit is not something, to get your panties in a twist over and to have a fight over. And this is about something bigger than that. And that was the attitude that I saw across the whole convention, the whole 3 days of it. Everybody had a very good sense of direction and purpose that was bigger than individual differences.
The minutiae of like your individual approach or your particular belief or lack of belief or how you choose to manifest that in your life really shouldn't detract us as a group from the fact that religion is dangerous and it's harmful to society, and that we all share the common goal of getting people out of that mindset.
Right.
Yeah. And that was good. And it's like when I asked Sam the question about using the word atheism, I probably by the end of the next 2 days probably had 30 people tell me
somebody's calling. Might be the film crew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
tell me like, that question was amazing. That's exactly what I was thinking. But
hurtling everything.
But on a conceptual level, I agree with him. But
eat more.
But like it was like mentioned, like Brian was talking about, like the past, division within the atheist community and things like that. And I think what people are starting to realize now is that our diversity, rather than dividing us, is actually our strength.
Yeah.
Because we are so diversified. Now we're going to fight on 1,000 different fronts at once, and we're all going to have a common goal. We're just going to go about it. Everybody's going to do their own thing, what they do best, take their own approach, and to hell with the bickering. Yeah. We're just going to get it done and do it for the right reasons.
Because we all share the common lack of belief.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really the heart of the matter.
And so everybody who hates us because we're hurting atheism, you need to realize we're not hurting it, we're helping it. And
ask yourself, what have you done lately?
Yeah, did we say 0 negative comments?
Yeah, not one.
There was 30 of us. 30 of us walking around. They could have told any one of us.
But
when you got this anonymous internet and you don't really know who's on the other side of that, and they could be a Christian who's, got great moral fiber. Yeah.
They're so much smarter than me.
They like to point out that they're an atheist, but that they disagree. Well, when it comes down to it, people who are more likely atheists because they just paid $300 to enter the building to celebrate atheist, people and learn from others. Those people didn't have a single negative comment. So, to the people down there saying, "I hate you guys, you're atheists," fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all anymore. And not at all. I'm just going to start deleting your comments from my YouTube profile. Fuck you.
They don't exist.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right.
The one girl who brought a Coke can for us to sign.
Oh, that was hilarious.
She told us that we were the only
Look at the cat. Here, we're gonna show it.
Give us a shot of that.
Nobody wants to see a cat.
The cat.
That's interesting.
That's so cute.
We've got to bottle him up there.
No, he's not going to do it.
No, he's not going to do it.
There it is. There. Oliver's last appearance was when he actually opened the other door on YouTube.
He opened the other door.
This cat knows how to open. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that door was. I think that door was bolted, and he's cracked the bolt. And we also had him in a straitjacket a few minutes ago, but he's gotten out of that.
Houdini.
And that was working. Yeah, that was working on the slotting part. All right. So anyway, well, let's get right to, because the film crew is about to come over right now.
And also
so what?
This video's getting way too long.
Yeah. So what was your Rich? Yeah. Let's go right from side to side. Rich, what was your favorite part of the whole? Oh, jeez. All right, we'll just let him out. He won.
If he gets up on the table, we'll just smack him.
Yeah.
My favorite part, when I went there, of course I wanted to meet everybody, especially you guys, Graydon, and all the speakers. I was surprised at how quickly most of my goals were accomplished. The first night, on the Thursday, most of my books were signed. I had most of my pictures. I was like, wow. And the guests it seems like Harris, Dawkins, and all them, they hung around so much because they didn't want it to be about them. Let's get all the pictures and autographs out of the way so we can get down to what really matters. The Secular Coalition, the lobbying and all that. They felt that message was really what we needed to focus on. They didn't want to take all the glory, so to speak. So they seemed to get that out of the way as quickly as possible so we could focus on what the whole convention was really about. To me, that was my favorite moment of the whole thing.
And you, Rook?
Still say getting up with you and Graydon.
Oh yeah.
That was the best memory so far from the conference. Hey.
And well, it sounds like you have a film crew coming in too, so I guess you get to meet them real quick. Cal, how about you?
It would be extraordinarily difficult to pick like one favorite moment. I don't know. Probably if I had to pick one, it would be the shot, like when the news people took the picture and the video footage of me with Christopher Hitchens, and we both had drinks in our hands, and I was just like, yeah, we see that? You see, I'm cool, we're down, we're friends. No, I don't know, or what's that?
What's that?
Cat.
We're also filming.
Good catch.
So yeah, we're filming here, guys. So do you mind?
That's Jared's back.
Everybody meet the camera crew, the folks making the documentary on us and religion. This is Jared, Dory, and Josh. So you know what? We were just going through and telling everybody our favorite part of the convention. So when we're done, we'll let you three wrap up and finish, and you can say what yours is. So yours was something about a shot and alcohol?
Go figure.
I'll throw that in the drinking. The fact that I was drinking with Christopher Hitchens, because that was my goal. But, yeah, either that or hanging out with Pastor Deacon Fred and Jesus and
That
David
material's gonna be
Silverman.
hilarious.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was just the whole thing was awesome. That and being able to walk by everybody in line.
Yeah. Yeah. You know
So
what?
I'm a pretentious bitch like that.
That whole thing with the security guard was great. At one point, I needed to she was telling me, go take a nap, go take
cigarette
a nap.
machine.
And I needed, well, that's good. I told him to, but I needed a nap, and it was like, I don't want to go take a nap because the guard is going to come and stand by my side, and I mean, it felt really good. So I was going to be could you go there or something? But I didn't even want him outside my door or anything while it's
I will protect.
I don't think I'll ever get used to that. And I don't want to have to get used to that. Actually, I want to live in a world. In fact, the head of security said, hey, I'll see you next year. And I said, I hope not. I hope there's no need for you next year. So as much
And
as
he was an awesome guy.
the Billiard Group, by the way, great security, amazing security. So. My favorite part was probably Sam Harris's, the dinner with Sam Harris. Watching Graydon, but the dinner with Sam Harris was a great experience. And how about you?
Well, honestly, there wasn't a bad moment in the whole weekend.
Not at all.
And it almost feels wrong to pick one moment
It was
out of
too
the
much
weekend.
fun.
The impression that I think was the best for me in the whole weekend, I kind of got over being starstruck, honestly, on Thursday, because it was like, oh, there's Hitchens, there's Dawkins, there's
Yeah.
You know, they were just all over the place, and they were very accessible. And sort of the starstruck thing was gone by Friday. And what really struck me as a whole was not the celebrities that were there, but the regular people that were there. You know, from every walk of life, every kind of person. You had Republicans, Democrats, you know, libertarians. You had people with
old
so
people,
diverse,
young people,
old,
tall
young
people, short people,
you
skinny
know,
people, fat people.
Yeah, it wasn't that, you know, you think of an atheist convention and you know, a lot of people might get the wrong idea. You know, they might think that it's a bunch of stodgy intellectuals. And, you know, if you'd have walked into that bar on any given night, you would not have been able to pick it out as an atheist convention except for the
young
signs.
crowd.
Yeah, and just
like 21 to like 35. It was a really strong grouping.
Yeah.
A bunch of them came with us.
Yeah.
But there was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot of them that were fans of ours. I guess maybe that's why that's why I know so many, because they were the ones that kept more hanging out with us.
But these weren't the intellectual bookworm kind of people that you know so often I think get associated with atheism. These were just regular people, and from so many different parts of the country and so many different approaches and philosophies, and they were all there, and we all agreed for one weekend on exactly what it was that we wanted to do, and the impact of that knowledge was something that I'm going to take away from this, and I just have an amazing sense of, you know, renewed purpose from seeing that.
Cool.
I want to revise my favorite part. Can I do that?
It's shots of buttons.
No. No. Okay, because it's not a part. I was thinking part, like, you know, point in time. The best thing about the conference is going there and realizing that not everybody hates me.
Yeah.
Because when I
could we say
float
zero
around on the
negative
internet,
comments? Zero.
it's like everybody hates me and thinks I'm stupid or I'm a bobblehead with big tits or whatever it is. And going
Except
there
here,
and
everybody thought she was brilliant,
having
amazing.
people like talk about how important we were and how good of a job we were doing, and nobody even criticized the debate.
Non-stop comments. Everybody
like,
came up to us.
God, you know, I'm so sick of it. They're like, you did great. What are you
Everybody who
talking
came up
about?
to us about the debate said, you guys were amazing in the debate. We're like, we're waiting for like the person to say, you sucked in the debate. And they were like, every single one.
So,
You guys were amazing.
seriously, all you people just can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, haters, go fuck yourself. Just shut up. Yeah, exactly.
Because nobody else
We're done
agrees
with you. We're done. We did it for a year and a half. And I did it for 7 years before that. We're done with you. At least for a while. Okay, maybe in a while we'll let you come back. But we're done with you for now. Okay, so just shut up, because we're not listening. In fact, I'm going to start deleting it.
And if you want to hate me, you can. I'll
Your
be
favorite
happy
point.
knowing everybody else loves me.
I mean, like I said, it's hard to pick a single point, but like to put it in perspective, my luggage was lost. When I landed in Philly. My flight was delayed for like 2 hours, and we're running ragged trying to get everything last minute done so we can leave and go down on Friday. On top of it all, they lose my luggage, so I'm basically no clothes except for what I have on my back, and so. Even that, like, I mean, it didn't put a damper at all on the entire week.
Oh, that's good.
You know, I mean,
because you spent all day driving around Washington.
Well, no, I drove around aimlessly, like in Washington, downtown Washington D.C. for like 2.5 hours, like looking for a Walmart or anywhere, like where I could just like buy some socks and a toothbrush. You know, but other than that, like, I mean, once that was taken care of, like nothing bothered me the entire weekend. I just had a blast the entire time. But like, I mean, okay, if I had to pick a single point, I'm just going to pick the one single joke that was told, that basically the whole table, we were all sitting there like, you know, after dinner just down at the bar, and we were just, you know, telling jokes and stuff like that, and while Comedy Jesus was there, and he's like, help me come up with some new material. So basically the whole table comes up with this new thing, and we should say like, well, you get Muhammad, he's like, come in as, you know, character Comedy Jesus, and, you know, say like, Muhammad talked to me the other day, and he has a message for you. They're running out of virgins. You know, so many of you blowing yourself up. We don't have 72 virgins for any of you anymore. So from now on, all you're going to get is one old hag with 72 episiotomies. So that kind of sums up the weekend for me right there.
What else can you say? That's a less crude joke than most
right.
It's routine.
Here,
can't
slide
tell
this
you
way,
the
because I don't know if
other
that camera's got you on that angle. And
well, somebody
I know
can come sit.
I know you're on the spot, Dory, because we kind of thought about our favorite points for a little while. But what do you think your favorite point was?
sitting next to Sam Harris on the interview, just sitting there. I couldn't even like look at the viewfinder. I was just like, that's for sure the best. For sure the best.
Josh, how about you?
I have to say, when you were talking with Graydon in the lobby about, you're kind of talking about Blasphemy Challenge, and you were discussing why you thought Jesus didn't exist and he was pretending to be on the Christian side.
But, this is where the fight occurred. This is where the Jesus fight occurred.
But what you guys didn't realize was that the whole time you were talking about why Jesus didn't exist, you could see Jesus in the background, and he was like reading a book or doing random shit, and you guys were just talking, and you had no clue, and he was just back there, and it was hilarious, and you guys had no idea what was going on.
It's like when Brooke was talking to that guy who worked at the hotel.
So was Jesus in on it at the time?
No! And then like at the end he walks off, and as he's walking you're like, Jesus, come here! And then you just take his ass and throw him on the couch and start beating the shit out of him.
Well, awesome. Brooke was talking about arguing with that guy who worked at the hotel. And how fun that was. And I was like, but Brooke, did you realize that while you were arguing with him about whether or not Jesus existed, I walked up the steps with Jesus?
Yeah. He like walked between you. And his boss was like, no, really, he has to go.
How about you, Jack?
I hate to shamelessly plug a video that's going to be coming out soon, but I would have to say that Pastor D and Fred and Jesus meeting together, one-on-one, mano-a-mano, in one room. It was kind of a throwdown session. It was pretty amazing.
See, I wasn't in the room because if I was in the room, I would have laughed too hard. You guys were the only ones that were in the room because we all we were just.
It's some pretty spectacular.
I mean, can you give me something that was it?
Jesus actually told me later. He was like, "That was like the hardest thing I've ever had to do was keep a straight face." I was like behind the camera like this. I was like, if I start laughing out loud, it's gonna be over.
That's a good
but I couldn't help it.
But
I couldn't leave. So I was like,
Jesus did go off on his hell burnt down routine, and he explained to Pastor Deacon Fred that they opened a new section of heaven called the Dick section, and that's where all the dicks are going to be going. It took a little while for Pastor Deacon Fred to catch on, but he explained to Pastor Deacon Fred that as an allotment for creating the Dick section, they also created a premium section where those who are paying 20% are going to get to go to the premium section.
You get cable on HBO.
Yeah, you get cable, HBO versions, great stuff. There's the regular section for the 10%ers, and the rest of you go to Dicksville.
Big on that. Shortresponders.com.